When you look at Indonesia, there are a number of very crucial sectors that some might say are more pollutant than others, from coal to power to mining. And Indonesia, in fairness, has tried to make efforts or inroads towards decarbonizing and making sure they can do this in a more sustainable manner. How crucial is transition bonds for these countries, for these industries, and why do you think it's not taken off as much as, say, some of their other counterparts like green or sustainability bonds?
Well, let's look at things in perspective.
Sure.
There are a number of sources of energy, one being coal, and then solar, and wind, and hydros, and then geothermal, for example. Indonesia is blessed with quite a number of things, including coal. So coal on a per kilowatt hour is actually still the cheapest because the technology is not there yet. Now, on top of that, solar and wind does have a challenge because you need big space, you need strong radiations, which actually countries in the equators are not there. However, the technology is moving. For Indonesia, the challenge is not just the cost, but also because many are not yet have adequate electricity. So we are building more, but we need to make sure that we don't build fossil fuel sources and then transition. We should just build the green energy from the get-go. However, we do set a target of 23% by 2025, I think, that the energy source should be from the renewables. So if you say, is it challenging? Well, it is challenging, but the government is really trying extremely hard in terms of incentives, in terms of really focusing on areas. Ourselves is actually setting up what we call an energy transition mechanism platform, where we are taking the coal power plant and retire them early, so that they can actually then be replaced by renewable energy sources.
At the Energy Asia Summit in Kuala Lumpur a few months ago, I spoke to the Prime Minister of Malaysia, Anwar Ibrahim, about just energy transition programs. This is something that Indonesia has also pioneered or tried to develop to try and get more just or accessible financing to drive some of these. It's been a few months, actually, or actually years since Indonesia launched this. Has there been good take-up from the developed world with regards to participating in just energy transition platform? And should more be done, actually, to help countries like Indonesia, 270 million people, all in the developing or low to middle income households, to try and create this platform that's important for you? Yes,
indeed. And thank you for asking that question, because the word just is extremely important. I mean, here we are in a beautiful Singapore, a country at what, 80,000 or maybe 60,000. I think it's $80,000 income per capita, versus Indonesia at about less than $5,000, right? So people, the whole world talks about it's so easy to just transfer out from fossil fuels to renewables, where it costs multiple times over. So I think there has to be some really good cooperation between developed and developing nations, because developed nations can provide concessionary financing plus technology to actually be able to make sure that those energy sources are actually produced at the parity, and also ensuring that those are actually not at the cost of the people that are going to be impacted by the transitioning out of energy.
But is it happening, sir? Do you feel that in the years since you've launched the Just Energy Transition Program, that the West has become more receptive or understands it from Indonesia's point of view?
Yeah, no, it could be faster. I'll give you one, maybe a rather silly analogy, but we're actually building toll roads in Sumatra. It is much harder to find financing to build toll road in Sumatra than to make Autobahn toll road in Germany more shiny. Because, but it's not just, you cannot just blame the developed nations. The developing nation has to make sure that those projects are investable, so those projects can give, adequate risk return to those investors. So it's actually on both sides, but can it be faster? Yes, of course it can be faster. Everybody wants to be faster. Yeah. But Indonesia, on one thing, actually is blessed with quite a number of things. We have forests. We have now producing the nickel that actually moves into the EV ecosystem. So the Indonesian government is also trying extremely hard to move towards, a more greener economy.
Right.